Ladies, don't you sometimes wish that your husband would do a little bit more around the house? And men, don't you sometimes wish women would take on some of your responsibilities, like take out the trash and do the yard or work on the car, order the tires, just, I don't know. It's just we got these set rules, you know what I mean? And I don't think it needs to be that way. I don't think it's really right either. And I just want to explore this a little bit because as I shared in the last video, men have got a heart wound because they've been asked to be men that don't cry and they're tough and that they're not allowed to do women duties and they shun that. And women, we're taught that, you stay out of the men's business and you don't pitch in there. That's a man's job. Men should always be the ones taking out the trash, doing the yard, these kind of set things. Men should always take care of the car. I don't know. It's changing, I know, okay, but still it's kind of an issue. And I think that we both would like to see that change. And so I want to explore this a little bit. And I just wanted to tell you, my dad, he used to joke and laugh and say that, ha, 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 I don't even know how to boil water. And it was a joke. But underneath it all, I don't think he really thought that was cool either. Because somewhere down the line, he was made to feel that a man should not be in a woman's kitchen. Let's put it that way. And my dad wouldn't step foot in a woman's kitchen. He stayed far away from it and during my growing up years. I don't remember him even helping with dishes at any point. I don't remember him helping with a meal at all. That's weird to think of. I never thought about that before. But that's not normal either. But let's just explore this. How did this happen? So, the men were asked and they were trained to not be like women. Women, you're not to be like men. We're different than each other and we have different duties. And we're trained, programmed to see it this way, to do it this way. But I think that men want to be released. I think the women want to be released from these standards, these programming. I think they don't want to be there. And I think us women don't want to be in that place either. I went through a divorce and during the time that I was alone for one whole year, I had to begin to do the men duties. Matter of fact, I did a full man's job every day for about a year on my own. And I had to do everything. And it was empowering, I have to admit it. I went down and I said, you know what, Angela, no more of just letting your husband deal with the TV every night and knowing how to use that remote. I didn't even know how to use the dang remote. And so I made myself start learning these things and, taking care of the car, the tires, if it would go flat, dealing with it, everything that, and I did way more. I'm not going to get into that, but I was doing a man's work and empowered me to a certain degree because before that I felt so low and it was really a change for me. And so I just wanted to say about my dad because this whole situation of not boiling water, he started to feel like my wife's not doing well physically. We're getting older. I want to start pitching in and doing some help in the kitchen. So we worked it out where he got a rice cooker and he could do these amazing things in this rice cooker, make a whole meal. And they had a little basket in the top and he could put the vegetables and the bottom had the meat that was cooking or whatever that he was wanting to cook up. And in this one pan, two sections thing. Well, his wife got really, really upset about that because I don't know, he was taking over her space, her way of having power in the family, taking away what little that she, I shouldn't say what little, that's not what I mean at all, but what her job was. And she did not like it. She really, really didn't like it. I'm not going to say how that all went down, but she didn't like it. So that shut my dad down. I don't even know that he's touched that rice cooker since. I really don't think so. But even in spite of the fact that she really, really did need his help. And it's just, I think she felt threatened. Her job felt threatened. We don't need to feel that way anymore, guys. We need to just start being willing to learn each other's roles and not be afraid. Women not to be afraid to go into the masculine role a little bit, and men to not be afraid to go into the woman's role. I mean, right now we have men and women both working for the most part to make ends meet in this crazy society that we live in, which is not normal either. But being that the case, they both come home at night and they're both tired and exhausted. And yet the woman has always got the task, it seems to me, to help the children with their homework and get their clothes ready for school for the next day and their whatever's needed, work on the homework and all that. She's got to do the meal. She's got to get the laundry going. Every night seems to me that when you work, you've got to do a load of laundry. And it's just endless things. And even though, he'll take out the trash, then she's got to also load the dishwasher. And one time I had an opportunity when I was young to have my husband help me to load the dishwasher. Well, he didn't do it quite right. The glasses were just kind of in the middle. It wasn't being properly dispersed so we could get as many glasses in the top as we could. And so I rearranged them. And he didn't like it because it's like, then why am I here? And he would never help with loading the dishwasher ever again. And yeah, so we've got to be sensitive. We've got to say it's okay if they don't do it exactly right. So what if they loaded the dishwasher wrong? Don't complain. You're getting help. You could gently say that. Yeah, I don't know, some later time. Hey, honey, next time, not that night, okay, not that night, but sometime later, honey, when you load the dishwasher, would you mind just letting me kind of show you how I kind of prefer to have it, just so that we can get a little bit more dishes in there, maybe? You did a great job. Don't get me wrong. I really appreciate the help. But so men are very sensitive, and I think it's because they've been chastised in later previous historical times. Ancestrally, I can't even say that. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to say it. But they just have learned. It's a learned pattern of many, many, many years, probably thousands of years, that this is the woman's place to raise the children, to do everything. But roles have changed, situations have changed, and we need to change with that. And I don't think that it's normal for a man to not be allowed to be in his heart, to be emotional, to be sensitive. We cut that down. It's always been a problem in society that men should never cry, and they should be tough, and and we don't even understand that that's not normal. And us women, we're not willing to come into a tougher role and handle things and take the responsibility to, I don't know, make calls to get new tires for the car, or I don't know, whatever problems that come up. It's the man's job to do that. We don't pitch in and help there either. And I just don't see the need for that anymore. I think that we can let go of these set roles and try to help each other out. I mean, women, if you're working all day and your husband is too, it's not right that you're doing everything. And I would think, and I know that you would be in resentment. And by the way, I wrote a book called Awakening from Unconscious Resentment, learning to uncover the hidden saboteurs that are hindering your life and relationships. It's a really good book. You should check it out on Amazon, by Angela Clark. A really great book. But we need to kind of not stuff all this stuff down. We need to start speaking to what hurts and not just take it. Women have always just kind of taken it without saying anything. But you guys, then we're not in our hearts. We're bitter. We're resentful. Then no one's in their heart. We got to have somebody at least who's leading the way in the heart space. And I'm just saying that men need to step up to the plate and also be in the heart space by allowing themselves to have their emotions about, how come you can't help me with these things? If he's working too much and he needs help, then he needs to be able to speak and say what hurts, and be emotional and sensitive, and come from a heart space and say that hurts, and these things that men are ashamed to do. I mean, it hurts for men to say it hurts me. I feel taken advantage of. I mean, if they feel that way, then men should be allowed to say that. Women, when they feel that same way, they need to be able to say that. We need to be in the, come in the middle. Women need to be a little bit more masculine in some areas, and men need to be a little bit more, feminine. And I don't mean feminine like that. I just mean in the heart space arena of things. Do you know what I mean? Where they're willing to take, that it's like the yin and the yang, right? But the male and the female, becoming a little bit more in that sensitive realm, and that loving realm and nurturing realm, and willing to cry, being it from a heart. And women need to be a little bit tougher. So last time I shared about the Proverbs 31 woman, how that she was a woman in the Bible who was responsible for a lot, her husband's wealth. She went out, she bought property, she bought lands, she bought wool, she brought it for a servant. She got up early in the morning, prepared for her servants so that they have their job set for the day. I mean, she was a woman who was around and about, and you have to have some tough skin to do all of that in a man's world. I mean, it was that way back then, of course, and they had to go and do this with men, women doing man's type things, that buying land, increasing her husband's wealth, investing. Really? I mean, that's not weak in any way. That's not weak. So anyway, I talked about that last time. I hope you don't mind, those of you who heard last time, but that is a powerful woman. And likewise, why can't men be allowed to be more nurturing and tender? And I don't know, those ways, compassion, all those feelings should be allowed for men and women to be more willing to do men type things like, I don't know, learn how to wire up a light in the ceiling, learn how to wire up something if need be, make something, build something, a cabinet that they brought home. Why can't we? Why do we have to play these weak roles? We don't have to anymore, guys. We don't. My husband, he had a woman who was a mentor to him when he was beginning to get out of the Jehovah's Witnesses, that he felt that I can't stay here anymore. And she was a really great help to him. And she said, Dan, you go to work every day and you have friends and you talk to them, you go out to lunch and you have camaraderie, you're accomplishing something, you're making money, it feels good, you have a sense of self-esteem. And when you go home at night, your wife has been home with the children. She hasn't seen anyone all day. She's saying goo goo gaga and and dada or whatever she's doing to teach the talking baby talk with the children. And she rarely is as out and about because it's a big load. And she has no sense of accomplishment. Her work is thankless, she told Dan. And so it's right that you need to pitch in and help at night and put those babies to bed, get the bath water ready. I don't know, help out with the dishes after dinner. Don't just let her, this is a 24/7 for a woman, and you need to pitch in and help, Dan. And she kind of like really showed him that this is really thankless work. There's nothing to show for it. I mean, you clean up all the toys and by the time you go to bed, it's all cleaned up, looks great. And you come in the morning, your husband goes to work, kids get up, and the house is a disaster again. I'm telling you, that's the way it really is. Toys everywhere. It's a crazy thing when you have children. It's very, very difficult. And imagine you had that sense of pride that your house looked great, and then in the morning by 9 o'clock, it's already a mess already. And it stays that way all day until nighttime. Maybe before dad gets home, you clean up all the toys, but it doesn't feel good. And so it's truly thankless. You do a million diapers, a million loads of laundry. It's really a very thankless work and you don't get paid for it. So anyway, I just wanted to, just let men hear that side of the story. Likewise, men, there's a lot of ways that they feel put upon and they would like us to step up to the plate and pitch in more on their end of things and be a little bit tougher and make phone calls, to get things fixed. I don't know. You know what I mean, guys? Willing to go the other person's role and not so stuck in this is the way it's always been and this is the way it's always going to be and this is a man's role and this is a woman's role. I say that needs to change. So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. Oh, there was one other story I was going to tell you about. There was a relative that I know of. So she was being asked by her husband, in the family, this family member of mine. She was asked by her husband to host the Thanksgiving dinner that year, and she didn't want to do it. But he was insistent that, it's been at those people's house, and it's our turn. So she begrudgingly said, okay, knowing that he was not going to help her one iota, not anything, not planning, not purchasing, not, doing the table, not making the food, not cleaning up afterwards, not anything. And sure enough, I witnessed it. He didn't do one single thing. And she never said anything about it. But guess what happened? It all came out because everything that she made almost without exception was ruined or burned or, it was beyond shocking because she was so resentful and so rageful that it came out in the cooking. It was burnt. It was ruined. It was just, it was shocking. And but that's what will happen when you do things out of resentment and you're not saying and speaking and getting your voice and saying it. It hurts when you don't pitch it and help, and I don't understand it. And I don't want to do it when you're not going to help me. This is too much of a load. That we don't allow ourselves to say these things. We must get our voices and speak what hurts, because it's actually, if you don't mind my saying, it talks in the scriptures about that we're to speak the truth in love. And well, anyway, I think I'll just leave it at that one. But if we're lying and we're holding in things and allowing bitterness to set in and we're not doing anything about it, that bitterness, it gets worse. It turns to rage, hate, and it comes out. And that woman I was just talking about, she burnt everything for Thanksgiving, imagine. And she didn't seem to care about it either. She was just plain old mad. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, like I said, I think we can change this, but we do have to start changing the role, allowing each other to pitch in on the side you're not comfortable with. And women don't cut down the men when they pitch in and help. When they don't do it right, they don't vacuum right. They I don't know, they get the vacuum cleaner all messed up with the rug, or and we just don't want to cut them down. Okay, we want to support them and say thank you so much for helping, even if it didn't go perfectly well, just like you do when you're training your own children. You don't cut them down when they don't do things right, at least you shouldn't. It's like they didn't clean the bathroom right the way that you would. We don't want to cut them down, or they're going to hate doing it. We want to encourage them and say, good job, thank you for cleaning it. Hey, listen, let me show you, we could get around here too. Just be real gentle, real loving. So that's how we do our children, right? And that's how we need to do our men too. Just when we ask for help, when they don't do it the way that we hope and we want, we don't complain. We just smile and we mean it. I'm really grateful. I know you did. And don't say this. I know you did the best you could. Don't say that. No, don't say that. But you think it. I know he did the best he could. And just really be thankful. At least it got done. Why does it have to be perfect? Why? It doesn't have to be. It's good enough. Let it go. Don't be so controlling. Let it go. So anyway, that's enough for now. And by the way, also, again, I told you about my book, but you can see I'm an Empower Her life coach. If you want to get a hold of me, you want to talk about some of these things, please get a hold of me. And the way you can do that for right now, because my website's being worked on right now, but it's Angela's Inspirations. That's an S on the end of both of those words at gmail.com. And my website about ready to have this all fixed so you can take care of scheduling later this way, but it's angelasinspirations.com. And so anyway, I hope that I hear from you, and hey, have a great life. I hope that these changes are kind of come to your mind here and there, and tell your friends about it. Let's get things changed around here, guys. We don't need to have it this way anymore. And let's make all of our lives a little bit happier. And let's come to the middle place so that, we're in the center with each other. We're in harmony with each other in our relationships, wherever they are. It doesn't have to be marital. It could be outside of that. Anyway, that's it. All right. Take care. Thanks for listening. Take care.